Welcome to an episode of Irrational Moms coming to you from MILF Estates where it's hot as F here. Right? It's been like 100 and like over 3 digits for the last like week, and I don't know when we're ever going to get back into like the 90s here.
No,
so
it's very unpleasant.
Yeah, you're dying too, right?
I was, well, yeah, because we were at a water polo tournament where it was like 110 in the shade all weekend. And so, I mean, even the kids playing in the pool are like having heat stroke because the water's not cold enough and they're in the direct sun. I mean, it was like you might as well be in Afghanistan or something. It was pretty rough. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I sat in the pool all day Saturday drinking champagne with my champagne friends. And then
right, in the pool was different than sitting beside the pool.
Yes.
Wishing you were in it.
But get this. Mr. Poindexter accidentally left on the heater or turned the heater on in the pool. So the pool's like 95, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, I can't.
It wasn't
I'm
an
dying.
accident. The Poindexters are the weirdest pool people I've ever known because they like the pool to be hot. You cannot be in a place where it's 100 degrees outside and get in a pool and it's as warm as the outside.
Okay, I do.
They love that.
I do agree with you that when it's like this hot, I want the pool to be like in the 80s. Like that's ideal. Like right, like low 80s.
No, you guys. I don't know. I don't know what the correct temperature is, but it's always too warm in your pool.
I have not heated that pool up at all this year. This was a total accident. When I'm like, it was not me because I enjoyed Saturday in that pool.
No, I'm saying he won't get in it unless it's hot tub.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right, he gets in the hot tub in the summer.
When Mr. Poindexter puts the hot tub on, I have to tell him like, please, can you do 102? He does 104.
Right.
I'm like, I'm cooking. I'm like a little
dude. The other day we were in the pool in the full bright sun. It was 100 degrees, and he came out during the day in the sun and got in the hot tub. We're like, what?
Oh, and then
he gets all heat strokey and he acts like that's fine.
Yeah, and then he has to go lay down under a fan because he's like, I'm dying. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, this. Then do not go get in the pool.
Right. So weird. Like I want it to be refreshing and nice when it's hot. I don't want to just be the same temperature as outside. Then I might as well go in the air.
I know. All right. Tris, what kind of snacks do you have for us this week?
Okay, so I don't know. This may or may not, you guys can tell me if this is like an irrational thought. So my neighbors, and we've only lived in this house for like, 5 months, I guess. And sometimes I'm still trying to figure out the trash schedule, and there's an HOA here. So it's like, you can only have your trash out certain times. Anyway, so after 4th of July, I put the trash can out because it was full. And I was like, crap, it's probably not going to come today, but I still just left it out for the next day because I was like, there's one day passing. Anyways, I've never met these neighbors before, and they brought a little tray of goodies. I only left.
Wait, but was it with a passive aggressive note?
Well, they very kindly wrote down. I'll block their phone numbers.
Yes, it was.
They wrote down the holidays. All pickups on and after a holiday are delayed 1 day, and they wrote down the holidays as if I don't know.
Dude, I would not eat those cookies or whatever that is. No way.
No,
I would not eat that.
They're
not nice. They needed to deliver a crappy note, so they brought you a treat with it. That is crazy.
They were like, enjoy your.
I agree with Annabelle on that. I mean, they're like they're big a-holes, but they don't want to come off as being that yet. Wait until the next time you forget, and they're going to be all up in your up in that house.
We do tend to leave our trash out like. They'll come, and then I'll get it like later in the evening. Maybe that's more
because that's normal. Common. What if people are at work and they're not at home? They're not going to bring their trash in while they're at work.
That was my thought.
This is my suggestion. Say you know what? Since you are so on this, why don't I pay you to take care of my trash cans?
They'd be so insulted that you offered to pay them like a high school kid wage for a high school.
Because clearly you're so in tune and you want to make sure that it looks all nice. So
I mean,
they pay you $5 a can.
That's wild.
I'm
One day you messed up.
But they did make this tray full of, I don't know what these are. What are these things?
Coconut things?
They have little chocolate.
Oh, those are coconut macaroons with the chocolate on them. Those are gross. I hate those.
I mean,
I like coconut.
I'll try one.
Try it.
But and then brownies. The brownies look good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they really want to be
I
my
would take a
friend,
little nibble
they would have
and
made
make
them
sure you're not gonna.
special
Not good.
brownies.
Well, when she starts like, foaming at the mouth.
If I pass out on the show, then you know they've
Or if your
done
stomach starts
something.
hurting in about 5 minutes, you
And their
better be suspicious.
information is right under Thanksgiving and Christmas, since they cut out more holidays of the year. Okay, we're
Oh
gonna
my
try this
God.
coconut thingy because I don't know. I'm gonna take a bite.
Yeah, let's see how it is.
I'm not a huge fan of coconut, but
I love coconut, but those things are the lamest cookie that's out there, I think.
yeah, it's okay. If you like coconut, it's probably okay. I don't know what I do with this.
No.
I'll just set it in
Just
my
set it
empty
down, it's
drink
fine.
container. Thanks, guys.
Straight in the trash. Straight in the trash.
Yeah, those aren't. Those are okay. If you like coconut, those are okay. We'll try a brownie.
Hey, you know what? Trust, you should send them this podcast.
Huh?
Yes, 100%. Say, hey, thanks for the snack of the week.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
being, passive aggressive on my trash cans.
Can you bring my trash in
Right.
next week? Okay.
Right?
The brownie was good. The brownie's good. I can get down with that. The other ones, I'll pass.
But I would still give yourself like, I don't know, 2 to 3 business days before you eat more and make sure you're going to be all right.
Right.
You know.
It's gonna be.
That's what I was gonna say. Should we have poison control ready?
Oh my God.
Well, that's why you
on the
got to wait
line?
to have more. Make sure that, you're not going to get sick first.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I was already sick all week, so I guess we'll see if I get worse. I don't know.
Oh my
That's true.
goodness, yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you don't get sick to your stomach.
Right?
You guys want to know what else was great? So my kid was having some kind of weird stomach thing, like acid reflux and stuff. Was literally like barfing before every game, and then would go out there and play almost the whole game in this temperature. And I'm just like, what are these kids doing? Like all the kids, some of the kids got out and they had like chlorine cough, which I didn't know what that was. I thought that was from like chlorine gas. Apparently, when the chlorine's really strong, and also the air quality was so bad that it can like irritate your lungs, so they like can't get good breaths after being in the pool.
I've
like,
never heard of that before. Interesting.
It's insane. We had a concussion, I think, from a dirty team punching somebody in the head. Like, it was wild.
Water polo is rough.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's
a rough sport.
And I'm like, no football because we don't want concussions. But then these dudes are like, right? In the face,
I think at the stage though they would be okay, football or rugby or water polo, any of that.
So basically, I will be completely ridiculously swamped. We have a tournament this coming weekend, and we have Junior Olympics like a week and a half. And so after that, I'll be like done and be able to chill for a minute. But
yeah,
these next couple of weeks are going to be intense. I got to go into super mom mode.
Super mom cookie mode.
Oh, dude,
really,
yeah,
she makes a lot of cookies. Yes, I heard about this.
For every day. Mm-hmm. And for both teams, because we have like A, B, and C team. And so my son has friends on all, so I made treats for everyone for this weekend. It was ridiculous.
Such a great mom. Oh, Tris, we need to tell you about our vacation. So we went on I'm not going to say the G word. We went on a cabin vacation.
It's not even a vacation. It wasn't even a really vacation.
Okay, I will tell you, this is the first time I did not win or place for my cabin decorating contest. And I'm so upset because the people that won, there's only 5 cabins out of 65 cabins or 66 cabins.
Decorated.
And we had the best decorated cabins by far. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
So now it's a deliberate snub because we didn't win last year. We got second. This year we didn't even place. And this cabin, this was like better than the own camp's decorations for itself.
Definitely. And then I gave my decorations to my neighbor because she went back up there. She won first place, right? Yep.
See?
She did have a couple more extra decorations, which was really cute. But I'm like, what?
Do you think they're like,
we're not going anymore. I don't want to go anymore.
Well, my kids are like, we don't want you to decorate anymore because we're over it.
Why would we decorate and spend all that money trying to make it nice if we're not gonna win? But I don't even.
You know they win. They win a soda.
Yeah, you didn't win anything.
Yeah,
it's the principle of it.
Exactly.
Principle, yes. And the thing is that we spend our soda bill for the snack bar is like ridiculously like almost $600 for all the kids for the whole week. So I'm like,
What?
we spend the most
Well, that's
money
not just
in your
sodas.
car.
That's like it's like a sweatshirt and their snacks, and it's also for like 8 kids or something because we have extra kids every year. So
Yeah.
you know, but still, it's a lot. They usually are like, do you want us to put a cap on it? Well,
no, don't put a cap on it.
I hate when they're like, oh,
I mean,
that's too good. You can't win because your stuff is too much better.
Yeah, that's dumb. So maybe we'll just rent a nice cabin instead of going there.
We're thinking about going someplace different because they raised their rates by 20% and their food is not being raised by 20% in quality.
The food is not edible, like literally. And I'm not saying this because I'm a chef or a food snob. I actually a couple years ago talked to the owner and offered because they used to have decent food. It wasn't great, but it was fine. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I'm a chef. I can help you. I'm not going to be here and cook, but I can like write the menus. I can implement the program. I can give you a schedule, train your staff. And they were like, well, what's wrong with the food? I'm like, oh, like they just don't care. It is abhorrent. Like it is not edible. Even the kids, something like French toast sticks, which come frozen in a package, you know, all you got to do is heat that shit up, right? They're inedible. I don't know what they do or how they do it, but they're disgusting. Like the children will not eat French toast sticks. That's telling you how bad it is. And so for me, I'm like, okay, this isn't as expensive as like a really nice vacation, but it's still a lot of money to go and not be able to eat anything, to have to take all your own crap with you. Yeah. And the kids don't even do their activities. They just hang out together, which they could literally do anywhere. So
yeah, I think they're kind of outgrowing it. I mean, I think Annabelle and I have already outgrown it.
I never even really liked it in the first place, but I liked to go with our friends. And Mr. Poindexter's been doing it since he was a kid, so we just do it.
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys go somewhere to a nice hotel with better food, just tell me and I'll.
Or if we're going to a big nice lake house, you can come there. You'll enjoy that.
Yeah. Okay, so I think all of this food talk goes into our topic this week and this was Trista's idea of if you had one restaurant to eat at the rest of your life, what restaurant would that be?
This was actually my monsters question out of nowhere, which I thought was interesting. But should I answer? Because his answer, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think about that? And you mentioned it was Cheesecake Factory. I forget what I had said originally.
Yeah.
And he was like, what about you? Because we had just gone there. There's something, I mean, you could probably eat there every day of the year and not have the same thing, right? I mean,
that's the thing.
They have pages of appetizers alone.
Right.
I can nibble on appetizers.
I think that's a very safe choice. Yeah.
I don't know.
And again, if you guys haven't seen our previous talks, we are pro Cheesecake Factory. Even though it's not like my favorite, anybody who thinks they're too good for Cheesecake Factory is crazy. And if you're a guy and you want to take a girl somewhere and you don't know what they like, that should be a safe bet because literally anything is there. So those women that are like, too good for that. No, you're not. You're not too good for Cheesecake Factory. I'm sorry. You're not. If a girl thinks she's too good, that's a red flag, and you need to never take her anywhere. All right, Poindexter, where would you eat for the rest of your life?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that option is probably the best option because I thought about it and I was like, well, no, because I wouldn't want to have, I mean, but what are you going to do I am a huge omelet person. I love a good omelet. I can eat omelets like for dinner and lunch. And I like how you can just add a bunch of just different.
Well, what about, so mine would be not a specific place, but a Mexican restaurant that's open for breakfast also. Because I'll eat Mexican food for all the meals, but if you can also get breakfast burritos and stuff like that thrown in, I could do that every day forever.
I feel like that's so rare though. Like there's nowhere around here that has breakfast burritos. And when I'm from Texas. And of course, in
California
Texas,
we do. Yeah.
You're going to have like, I don't know. It's like potato and egg, put a little salsa on it. Mine are pretty plain, but still, I would definitely do that.
In California, we got a lot of places like that, and the breakfast burritos, even from the place right by your house, they're bomb. And it's not maybe the best Mexican food ever, but I could even eat there for pretty much.
Maybe Waffle House, but I'd probably gain so much weight if I was eating waffles every day.
I would get.
I eat eggs every day. I don't know that. So the egg would be okay.
As much as I love Waffle House, I couldn't do it every day for all the meals, just because it would lose its like charm to me. It's like there's a certain element of like charm and nostalgia that goes into it that makes me enjoy it probably better than the food actually is. And so if it was all day every day, I would just be like, no,
the old Waffle House charm.
I'd have to like get drunk just to do it. Eat every meal.
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, I think that goes into our next topic we were going to talk about is tipping. I know this is a hot topic.
Yeah.
It started
tipping hot topic.
We've talked about it several times, and I mean, there's articles about it all the time. I know people think tip culture is completely insane, and it is. And I've worked in the restaurant industry my whole life, and I'm a good tipper. During COVID, like a lot of people, I started tipping everyone for everything. I would give way more than I needed to, but part of that is I have the luxury of being able to afford to do that.
Yeah.
And I also empathize with a lot of service industry workers, right? I mean, I lost my job. My job wasn't based on tips, but my job was also very low salary because chefs get paid garbage for the most part. So, so what happened is a lot of people started tipping more than they should and for everything. And a lot of people were okay with doing it during COVID because they could. And they knew that restaurant workers were suffering and blah, blah, blah. But now you're supposed to tip for every damn thing.
Everything, which I have another side story of that. But there's actually an Instacart room in Reddit where it's like people venting about all the experiences, which is kind of funny. But, our conversation we started yesterday, we were talking about like the tipping amount. Like the order that I placed yesterday literally had 10 items. There was an $18 charge, which I was fine with because the PetSmart here is a little bit further away, and the youngest puppy is 2 or turned 2 yesterday. Anyways, I was just like, I hate being rude to these people because I know they probably put up with a lot of crap. But at the same time, I was like, okay, listen, I'm not trying to come down on you, but you've literally replaced every single thing on my list. Like, you're telling me none of these are here and these aren't even comparable. Can you please ask? And she did, and they found every single one of my items. So to me,
was everything more money than what you had chosen? So that's, what I told you. So from one of those Reddit rooms, I don't know if it was the Instacart or DoorDash, but what I learned is some people will replace things every time with things that are more expensive. Now it should be like maybe instead of 6 waters, you say that packs out, so you get the 12.
Yeah.
Because if you've tipped a percentage, the percentage of the tip goes up. And I tipped the highest. I was tipping the 20%, which is like the highest one they suggest. But so what I started doing is I go edit that and I will equal the tip amount to the 20% amount, but then it doesn't go up or down. Now, I'm okay. Like if some of the items are really out of stock, I'm okay with them still getting the tip because it wasn't their fault and they're still doing the shopping, right? Like I don't necessarily want them to lose money. But it means they can't upcharge you and make more money. Do you know what I mean? And if they actually did what yours did, where they said nothing was there, then I would definitely not give them that full tip. Because, you can change it later.
Yeah,
I've only changed a tip one time when the person did something. Oh, I took away a tip on DoorDash because instead of putting the food on the porch, they said they couldn't find it. And they left it like in the driveway at the end of the driveway behind the car. And so I took away the tip for that because that was just nonsensical.
Right.
But I would not do that normally.
It seems very, it's expected, especially when I see conversations started and people that actually work for Instacart or any of the delivery services, not just Instacart, but they're like, it's a luxury, blah, blah, blah. And I get that it's a luxury, but that doesn't mean, number one, they've already jacked up the prices on the items. I don't understand paying a percentage of a tip based on how much.
Well, that's because the driver's not getting any of that extra money. So if you don't tip, the driver gets nothing. Well, they don't get any of those service fees or anything. Do you know what I mean?
Right. They do get paid. They just wouldn't get a tip.
But it's very little.
Right.
And they might get paid $2 for an order.
Right. And I always tip, but I'm not going to tip a ridiculous amount. But I don't know.
But I look at that and I think, okay, they get paid a small amount and they are working on tips, but they're choosing that career too. So, I mean, and the market is actually allowing that to happen. So everyone has a choice. You don't have to work for that. But I do
keep in mind, it's not the same kind of choice that you and I have. A lot of people do it out of desperation because they don't have better options.
But that doesn't mean
stay in school.
That doesn't mean that.
But still, I mean,
let's be real. Let's be real.
But but that's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's not the way. Like,
but
it doesn't mean that I have to. Like, people should. These jobs, like even like a fast food job, is not meant for like adults to work at. It's meant for high school kids to work at. You get your feet, you get a little experience, and you move on to something else. And now we're kind of created this society. I guess we could go down this rabbit hole where it's like we allow these adults to work on these minimum wage jobs, but those aren't supposed to be for the rest of your life. They're supposed to be a stepping stone to something different.
Well, that's fair. But all I'm saying is it's a luxury for us to afford to pay somebody to do our bidding out in the world that we don't want to go do. We don't have to use that service. Now, yes, that person is making a choice also. But if I want the luxury of someone bringing me everything so I don't have to leave my house and interact with people, I believe it's fair to pay a fair tip is all I'm saying, because they're not getting money otherwise.
Yeah,
Well,
fair tip, yes. But like when I was
it's basically, it's my convenience fee because I don't want to go out there.
When I was waitressing, we made $2.15 an hour, and then you work on tips. But my thing is that I tip you for the service provided. So if you give me crappy service, a lot of these people with more so, I think, food delivery services, I have less issues with Instacart than I do with DoorDash and stuff. But it's just like, if you provide a crappy service, then why do you think that you deserve some exponential tip? Like people that are being rude and like making comments as they deliver, like, oh, really, no tip? Like, that's just disgusting. You should just stop doing that job.
Well, because a lot of people, I think, thought, oh, I'll just add the tip later. But if they see an order without a tip or a low tip, it's going to get passed.
Which is awful.
Your order, or you're going to have to wait. Why would you tip if they're not even or why would you take an order that has no tip?
Because the point is that to tip on the service. I get what you're saying, but this is the issue with the expectation that they think they should automatically just be guaranteed some.
No, I think it's that if they don't have any promise of any money, why would they take the order? Because a lot of people don't tip, period.
Same thing if you go out to eat.
Doing that job.
Not everybody's going to tip.
Well, no, I'm just saying, why if I'm driving for DoorDash, why would I select an order with no tip? I would skip it and do one that has a tip.
Because that's what you signed up. You signed up to pick up orders.
No, you did. But
you signed up to pick up orders.
It's your right. Yeah, but it's your right to skip an order that you don't want to do. So all I'm saying is if you don't enter a tip, it's fair that no one picks up your order. I don't
ever not enter a tip, but I mean, I damn sure will change the tip if you give me crappy service. So
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about the issue of people who think you don't put a tip in the app in the beginning, your order's not going to get picked up, and that's fine. That's everyone's right to do all those things, right? But if you want the service, you got to be willing, show them you're willing to give them a little money, right? And if they give you terrible service, F them. Take the money away.
For the most part, I know I've stopped using all of it besides the same day Instacart for Costco, because I hate going to Costco. It's such a time sink to go there. It's worth my money to actually give somebody a little bit extra to go to Costco. But what I do is I do what you did, Annabelle. I will go in the 20%, but I add a little bit more, and I usually round it up. So, and it's just a flat fee that I'm just giving them. And then when they come to my house, I give them like another $20, like whatever the tip is, I'll give them like another, like just cash. Cause I also feel like, and they're always like, oh my God, thank you. Because I'm like, you've loaded all of my groceries. I mean, they're usually big items, big ass like water and like laundry soap and all those things where I'm like, I don't want to have to go do that. And you just went and did it. I'm going to pay you extra. And I don't want the company knowing that I'm paying you extra. So I'm just going to hand you some cash.
I can agree with that. And the heavy orders. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's totally justifiable.
Yeah. So when I order all the stuff for like our road trips, when it's a bunch of cases of water and cases of Topo Chico, and then I give extra as well because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Now, my trainer, she just got back from her honeymoon / wedding in Hawaii. And I was telling her about this discussion we were going to have. And she was like, oh, okay, so tell me if this is weird. She said that when she went to purchase her wedding gown, they asked for a tip. And she said she only did 5% because she didn't know. She was like, is this normal?
What's a tip for?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
like your bridal consultant?
Because also, I mean, if they're going to do some type of like alterations, you pay the alteration fee, right?
And the bridal consultants are paid to work in the store, and they get a commission on the dress. They do.
So that's why I'm like, no, I've never heard of that before. She looked up online. I was like, I'm glad I only did 5%. But can you imagine 20% of your actual wedding dress cost?
Thousands of dollars of wedding dress?
Just because somebody, like, you literally get paid probably a decent amount plus your commission, if not just a good commission.
Right.
So I just thought that was wild. I'd never heard of that.
I think they're doing it because people don't know. So there are plenty of people who won't know anything about it, and they'll just do it because they feel like they should on the screen. And I think that's why all these places are asking for tips. Like Matt was saying, what was it? He was ordering a sandwich somewhere online.
Yeah, I order. Yeah, I order pickup Jersey Mike's next to my work, so I could just go stop by on the way in. And every single time they ask me if I should tip, and I always put $2 because I don't want them to like ruin my food or anything like that. But why am I tipping them?
You have to still drive there. Park.
I have to get out of the car. I have to go wait in the line. I have to still do all that stuff. And I don't really understand why I should be tipping, but I do anyway.
When you go there and you pay, I can't remember. Do they ask for a tip on that screen? If you go in and order it?
It's when you're paying on the app, it will say, like, here's your total. Do you want to include a tip? And you can totally say no.
I'm saying if you don't order on the app and you just go in the store, when they ring you up, does that also have a tip screen or no? I'm just curious. I don't know.
Yes, it does. I believe so. It's been a long time since I've actually ordered in the store, but I believe that you do have the option to tip, which is also awkward because it's like, here I am standing in front of you, and now if I don't tip, I feel like a jerk. So
I think mostly
it's counter service, and you got to go get your own drink. You got to fill up your own soda cup. So I don't understand the tip on that.
Really. I think a lot of it is just the machine itself is already like set to offer a tip. So I think the software is set. They could probably opt out, but they probably don't. They just allow it to go, and they just allow people to be like, well, maybe someone's going to tip a little bit extra.
It's not just that though, because now the suggested tips used to be what? 15, 18, 20%. Now they don't even start till 18%. Then it's 20, then 22 and 25%. Like I saw a couple screens this weekend when we were at our tournament that the suggested tip was 25%. And I was like, and I tipped that anyway, but I was like, damn, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be suggesting that only.
I mean, the thing is like, I'll go frozen yogurt, right? And it's like all yourself. And then you put it on the scale. And then it's like, do you want to tip it? Right. And I'm like, I'm not effing tipping you. You did nothing for me. Or I go to Cinnabon for the kids and like get a 6-pack and they're like, and then they want a tip too, or it automatically asks me for a tip. And I'm like, no, I'm not tipping you for just handing me a product that I just paid too much money for. And frozen yogurt's expensive. Let me tell you, it'd be like $30 if you take like
what's up, Matt?
Well, if you load it up with like 10 pounds of ingredients,
all that crap they put on top.
I just put nuts on it.
Is there anything? Because I've asked people that work in the restaurant industry about the tipping thing, like to try to get some sort of baseline of what they think, and they are saying that you should tip because the restaurant is paying them so little now that the restaurant is using tips as a way of paying.
Sorry, go to another job. Not my problem to pay your.
Well, that's easy to say that.
I mean, but is this a restaurant where you're sit down service?
That's not our problem.
It's all of them. I mean, one of the reasons that many people don't have jobs anymore, like for example, most places can't afford to pay for a pastry chef, even though places that had one before. So they'll pay me a small amount to consult and write their menu and teach people how to make stuff because they don't have it in the budget. I mean, most restaurants, now I'm not talking about big chain places, okay? Like Jersey Mike's doesn't count. That's a chain sandwich place. Chain restaurants typically are making money, but I'm talking most of the places I eat are going to be like local or whatever, one-offs. Those people, it's such a small margin of profit in every way. Now, I'm not saying any of the decision-making is right. That's why I will never own a restaurant because it's the best way to lose all your money. But the profit margins are so slim that most of them, it's true, they cannot afford to pay their employees.
I could agree that.
Especially in California. Especially in California now that you have like they wanted to up the minimum wage for restaurant people, like it's to a livable wage. But to me,
but people already couldn't afford to pay their employees. That's why tip culture can't go away because restaurants can't afford to pay people. And people go into a restaurant and the prices have gone way up. They get pissed and they leave or they complain they don't want to pay the high prices. But the problem is that is the cost of goods. And running a restaurant, it's not a profitable business for a lot of times. Again, why I won't have one. That's my choice. I would never choose to do it because I don't want to have that risk.
Well, the government has caused these issues, so I'm not going to.
Well, that's not. I mean, that has nothing to do with it, honestly.
It really does, though.
No, it doesn't. I've worked in the restaurant industry my whole life. I know way more about this than anyone else. Trust me.
I agree with Annabelle
with small
on
business owners that open restaurants.
The profit margins are very slim, and I
agree with that.
Also,
it has nothing to do with the government.
But it doesn't mean that I should be forced to cover people's.
Correct. So you either don't go there.
No, I'll still go there and I'll be the bad guy. I'm not doing tip. If I stand up to order, it's done. You don't need a tip. You do your job. You get paid what the restaurant pays you. Boom, done. Other than that, I'm not tipping you. If you don't serve me something, a drink or whatever, I'm not tipping.
There's a difference in this, Tris. I agree with everything that Annabelle's saying, because if you look at it like from an economic standpoint, it's like they have very low profit margins. They do that. I think that like it was amazing at one point before COVID that they could actually pay like a really well livable wage for people who are in higher positions, like you were, Annabelle, right? Like if you're a pastry chef.
But I didn't really make a livable wage either. I mean, I didn't make enough money, nowhere near it. Not for living in California.
Well,
if I
not
made what
California.
I make, if I made what I make in Georgia, I'd be great. But it's still not a livable wage for a professional who works, 70, 80 hours a week.
There's a lot of hours.
It's unacceptable. But again, that was also my choice to do that job. And I am lucky because I have choices. I could do other things. Right now I do other things.
Yes. Okay. So going back though, I think that if you are providing a service, then I always tip. I've worked in the restaurant. And I know how hard it is to like actually work. And I've actually been stiffed on tips because, or for whatever reason, because people are cheap or whatever the reason is. And I think people are, when it comes to food, can be the rudest people ever to someone's face when it comes to food, more than you would be to some other stranger that you've never met, but they just feel so entitled. I ordered this food. It should be this way. And it's like, and then they're mad at me because I'm just the person in the between giving it to them. I mean, it's a kind of a show, but going to your point, Tris, is that if I walk up to a counter, like Jersey Mike's is a good example, and I'm ordering something and then I'm going through it depends on how it is. Now, if they're going to bring the sandwich to me, I'm going to sit down and they're going to give me a number and they're going to bring it to me, then I will give them a tip because they're actually bringing the food out here. Then they're going to be like, is there anything else we can get for you? And I'm like, yeah, maybe an extra napkin. That is a service I would provide a tip for. But if they're just like going through a line and it's like at the end of the line, you're watching them make your sandwich, then it probably not.
Because they're just doing exactly their job. There's no extra elements.
But
and if I'm getting my own soda or drink out of a cooler, to me, that's like,
But it's still, but if they give you a number, like if you walk up to a counter and they give you a number and you go sit down, there is a level of service there that those people are working a little bit harder because they're servicing you. They're still bringing your food to you. Asking you if you need something else.
Right. But what you guys are saying is what that's what I'm agreeing to. If you give me a service.
But I think the attitude of, well, F them, they can go do something else. That's what I take exception with because not everybody has choices.
What is that? No, Joe, it's either yes or no. It's either if you get service and it's good service, then I tip you. If you don't provide me service and I walk up to the counter and I do all the things, I'm not going to tip you, not because I feel bad, not because the restaurant or the business doesn't want to pay you enough. I'm not going to tip you just because, and that's the argument. And no, I don't agree with that argument.
I think I still tip a little bit because I know how badly they get paid. And I don't think because if the tip is going to the employee who's getting paid little, I think I have more empathy for people in the service industry from having worked in the service industry my whole life. So even though I don't believe that it should be a tipped item or a tips thing or whatever, I will still give a little money because I think the people are making no money.
I will differ on that one.
And because I can afford it. That's why.
I think there's a certain level because like I don't really think I can afford a tip every single time. So I do look at what did they do for me? Did they give me great service? But I think it's just that everybody is being paid so little these days that every single penny goes into something, and having disposable income is not as easy as it used to be. At least I'll just speak for myself. It's not as easy as it used to be. And so like when I'm tipping, I'm really looking into what they've done because that $3, $4 could go to a tip somewhere else. But I know it's only $3 or $4, but $3 or $4 twice a week adds up.
Right. And so I think if people genuinely can't afford a tip, then they need to make other choices for themselves. You don't get to go to a restaurant where you should tip and not tip because you can't afford it. You need to make your food at home or something.
Believe me, I'm not going to Roost Chris anytime soon. Trust me.
Well, and I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying these are common things I hear from people. They're like, well, I have less money now too. I'm not doing it. I can't afford it. Well, then you shouldn't go to a place that is giving you service because unfortunately in America, that's just the culture. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was like Europe where everyone just gets paid and you can go sit in a restaurant. And if you want to hang out for 2 hours and chat with your friends without getting pressured to get up, you can, it's a completely different scenario, but
it's this darn capitalistic society. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'll mute myself now.
All right. I think we can wrap it up on that note.
Old man yells at cloud. That's our
and,
closing
okay, one more
statement.
note on that. Do not tip women on the internet or give them money when they ask you for tip me, daddy. No, do not tip them.
Stop doing it. This is your like weekly reminder. Stop
not
giving people on the internet your money. Save your money for tips for people who deserve them.
Yes. Not
someone who sends you a nude photo doesn't deserve a tip.
Yes, or the person that you're talking to online who's actually a man behind the screen overseas that's asking you for money. Yeah, with stolen pictures. Yes, take your money and give it to the person at the restaurant, or if someone carries your groceries out or something.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Hey, one last thing on the tip. I worked at Vaughn's when I was 18. And we were not allowed to accept tips.
I know, me too.
Like I would help people out to their car.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we could.
The Piggly Wiggly. I know, so funny. If you ever want to know more about the Piggly Wiggly, Annabelle talks about it. I think it's our first or second.
It was my second.
Our first podcast that we did. We talked about.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, because the one by my house burned down. Remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So she'll tell you all about her job at the Piggly Wiggly. So funny. Oh my god, I need a store like that down the street from me.
It was great until they wouldn't let me have like Christmas Eve off, so I quit. Something like that.
I know.
Something immature like that.
Dude, grocery stores are brutal on like high school kids. I was 18, but I was still in high school, and they were like telling me to skip class because I needed to cover a shift during the day and weird
I'm
stuff.
A child. What?
Yeah.
I'm still in high school.
So
I mean, I was the youngest one at the grocery store bagging, and it was like at 16, I was the lowest person on like the list, and I had to work all the crappy hours. I had to do all the closing shifts, but because I was under 18 and on a work permit, I could only do it like on Friday and Saturday night. So I just never went out. I had to like wait until
that's pretty good. Kept you off the streets.
And now when I go bag my groceries or I'm in the grocery store, I'm like, just move over. I'm like, just get out of my way because you're doing it wrong. Do not put the milk on the side. Have 3 bags up and ready to go so you can just kind of start moving things around. But I swear to God, these kids
how can they not figure out? If you're getting cans of soup, those don't go in the same bag as avocados. Like, I don't understand how they're so stupid. And actually, adult cashiers do the same thing. I always try to bag.
They don't care. Just throw it all the shit in this.
It's not even that hard. Or the thing that makes me even madder, honestly.
Okay, tell me.
Is if you don't, everything makes me mad. But okay, so if I go and I don't have my own bags, which happens sometimes, right? Why in the hell is it the default for every person who works in a grocery store or a Target or anywhere to put 3 tiny little items in a bag and give you 400 bags? And they did this before. Wait, they did it before they charged you for plastic bags. They've been doing this always.
I thought you were going to say, like, my favorite is if I go to Whole Foods and I forget my bags are like, and it's a huge pile of groceries. Do you need a bag? Do you need bags? And I'm like, no, mother effer. I'm going to put it back in the car and I'm going to roll out to the car and I'm going to throw it all in the car. I'm like, that makes 0 sense. Yeah.
A couple times I have like an organizer thing for my car that's like a bin that I'll be like, no, I have something in the car. So I put it in the cart and take it and just put it in the bin in the car. So that might be why they do that.
That's a good idea.
But why do they want to give you, why wouldn't you want to maximize each bag and put as much as you can in the bag?
Okay, but the problem I have with that, I'm all about maximizing the space. Fill it up with as much volume as you can, right? But the problem is this: those kids always do it too heavy, and then the bag breaks or it rips.
Well, if they're plastic, I'm talking about like the plastic bags. They're worse with the plastic bags. The paper bags are different, but if they're using the plastic bags, so they'll put like a thing of toothpaste, a thing of tissues, and like an orange in one bag, and you still have 400 other things. I'm like, why would you not put more in this bag? And it's insane. I have to tell them, hey, can you just fill the bag up? And they're like, oh, okay. Like they're confused as if this is a new concept they've never heard of.
Or I always looked at it as like, it's a puzzle, right? Or it's like, you got all these items coming down the belt.
It is a puzzle. And then you have to organize them. And,
then you put the boxes on the side of the plastic bags. They kind of keep it upright. And then you put the
Exactly.
You put
I put everything
in the middle and then
I put everything on the conveyor, like by sections, like the cold food first and like the heavy stuff last. So I don't know. I'm sure that helps in some way.
Or I put all my bread
helps,
and
and
chips
plus-
on the back end
Oh,
because I don't
yeah.
want them smashed.
Yeah.
And that's
Same with like bananas, avocados, they
and
go
I
on the
keep
back.
or I keep them like in the little what's the like where you put the little babies in the cart, the little like
yeah.
Whatever.
The little
Seats?
extra
The
basket.
strollers?
Yeah,
Baby
so I
seats?
put like
I
all
mean,
of
I
my
don't know.
Annabelle, I put like the tomatoes, I put anything that's gonna
Right.
be like can bruise or bread or
Right.
up there. And I hate it like when they start grabbing and then they throw them like in the middle of my groceries. And I'm like, now I gotta actually grab my bread out because it's gonna get smashed. There's a reason, there's a method to my madness here, right?
Right. And they're still going to put it in wrong. I'm like, how do you get through life if you don't understand? Like, I don't understand how they're so confused about how to do it.
I had a whole training video I had to watch.
It's like common sense. How is it not common sense? I guess is what drives me nuts.
Because they don't care. They don't care to like think. All they want to do is like, I don't know, vape, watch YouTube.
Vape.
I don't know. What are those kids doing these days?
I don't know. It's adults too. The adult woman the other day, I was in the grocery store and I was like, I was getting my wallet or something out. And so she had finished scanning and she started bagging and she puts like a few things. I'm like, can you just fill the bag up? She's like, oh, I guess. I'm like, why? Nobody's ever said that to you?
What?
The hell?
I mean, I can see a couple things in the bag if it's like Tris, going back to you, I put things, I separate things by their like, I don't know, like
kind of a category together. Yeah.
And so like if I have all my produce and then it's like, okay, maybe it doesn't fill the bag up completely, but I'm like, okay, we're good because
of course. But then they'll do dumb stuff like put some oranges and avocados in a bag, then lay a box of like pancake mix on top, then put eggs on it, and I'm like, so you fill this one full in a completely nonsensical way, but you won't put anything in the bag with some toothpaste.
Well, my favorite is when they take a carton of milk and they put it like a half a gallon and they put it on its side. And I'm like, why do you, I'm like, it could leak. Do you understand?
Maybe they think they don't want it to tip over.
I don't know.
I mean, the milk should be sealed.
It should be, but
it
should be. It should be sealed, but I've been around long enough to know that some of that stuff is not. And it doesn't need to be. If you put it upright, you put more stuff in the bag.
But they're dumb, we've established. So.
Yeah.
There's no good reason.
Come to MILF Estates Bagging Training Academy.
You know,
we need a MILF Estate shirt that's for grocery baggers or something.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Hey, Tris, by the way, look, you see what that cat's laying on? Can you tell?
Oh my God, that's his new favorite spot.
It's a beach bag that was part of my birthday present, and so when I've gotten it out to use and put it down, the cat immediately, because he loves laying on wicker. I don't know, like he loves to sleep in a basket, and so I can't even use it because anytime I get it out, he gets on it.
Which, speaking of which, I still have Miss Poindexter's gift sitting on my counter, and I'm like, one of these days,
I have a very it'll be amazing when it gets to you, Poindexter. Something I actually ordered before your birthday.
See?
It's
look at this.
I told Tris what it is, but I'm not telling you. But it's not a huge gift, but it's gonna be, you're gonna love it. But it's like a customized thing, and it still hasn't.
Oh, I feel so loved.
It's the thought that counts. We do have gifts for you.
You know, it'll mean more because it will be coming like randomly. I'll be like, what's
That's
this?
why I told Tris. I'm like, it's okay because then you get a surprise. Like I sent you some flowers on your birthday. I'm like, but then you get a surprise. Like Matt is going to get a birthday present eventually when he tells us what Jordans he wants. So
I'm so bad at that stuff. People want to give me stuff, and I'm like, I can't pick it out.
I don't make a lot of money, but then somebody wants to give me something nice, and I won't even pick it out.
Hey, this is fair. This is fair. Trust me, this is fair. I've told you this many times. Whenever you bring it up, I'm like, gosh darn it, I'm supposed to do that. And then I start looking, and then I get overwhelmed by how many shoes there are out there.
And then I did say I would send you
send him like 3 that you think you would love.
That's right. Yeah. I did that last time. I put together like a grid of some shoes. He showed them to Tony Gwynn Jr., who's his bro. And he was like, oh yeah, those are some great choices. So then he picked from that. So I need to do that again.
Okay, we all need to wrap it up.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, you gotta go. I gotta go soon.
Okay. Too. All right. So so we are wrapping this up. Another episode of Irrational Moms. You can find us at Spotify, Apple, or you can Google us at irrationalmoms.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe. Oh, and leave a question, because we haven't had
Yeah.
questions in a long time, and we would love to have a
Yeah.
question. Next episode, we have an attorney on that's going to talk about AI. So it'll be fun. Maybe you should bring an AI snack. Theme
Wait,
snack.
so,
She's
who are
gonna
you
get real
helping?
angry if she doesn't have a
I'll
real
get
snack.
extra hangry. Yeah, that's not.
No, you can make
That's
it.
just mean.
No, you can
Huh?
figure out some, like, go to Chat GPT and say, like, what's a good AI snack?
I'm
This is
not
not
using
real.
Chat GPT.
I do all the time. I
I'm
love
not
it.
using any of them.
Why? What do you use it for?
Me? The new business, like the website, I had it
Oh,
all
okay.
like, I'm like, hey, I need a pitch that says this, and then like it's
Oh.
amazing. It's like, I'm like,
Okay,
oh my
that's
god, this is
fair.
so great.
That's fair.
Or my thank you email going back, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not that creative. Why do
It's
I
like
need to create
paying a
something?
writer, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you pay it to, like, I need a thank you email that has this criteria in it, and then it does it, and I'm like, oh my god.
Can it make me an interesting Instagram caption? Because I hate
I think so. Yeah, I think you could
Right.
do that. Yeah, you should do
I'm
that.
just gonna say,
Maybe.
have a great day. That's free.
maybe.
I know
Yeah.
on Android now you can use when you're texting, you can hit the little button and it will AI your text to make it sound better.
Well, I do that anyways because I'm bad at grammar.
Is that why you started using an apostrophe and you are now instead of just
I
saying
did.
your?
I did. Yes, that is exactly right, because I love it. But what it does, though, because it overrides my keyboard, it it messes up the
Autocorrects.
the autocorrects.
what?
Yeah, it does. So it's like I don't know. I think it's having to relearn it or something. So whatever.
Yeah.
But it makes me
All
sound,
right, we'll
makes
see
me
you
sound a
guys
little smarter.
Next week with the AI
Yep.
lawyer, right?
Back
Yep.
with more snacks, but not these macaron. What are those? What's that thing?
Like a macaron
Yeah.
is the French one with the feet on it. The macaroon is those coconut abominations.
Oh, yeah, not those. We're not doing those again. We've learned our lesson.
Thanks a lot,
Inedible.
neighbors.
If I don't like
Yeah.
them, they're inedible. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
All right. Bye.